Hey guys, Zack here at etrailer.com, and today I have one of my favorite bike racks, the Kuat NV 2.0, and I have it on the 2020 Nissan Pathfinder. This bike rack, I see it around town all the time. People love it, and for good reason. It's a really solid rack. It's super versatile. It's going to carry bikes up to 60 pounds, so it's going to carry even some of your biggest electric bikes. If you are carrying an electric bike, take the battery off though. It not only will save you weight, but it's also going to be really good to take that stress off your battery going down the road. It's going to have a wheel mount design, so it's good for carbon fiber bikes. And it has a tire width of up to 4.8 inches out of the box. They do have we have a adapter kit that you can also buy to fit other fat tire bikes if you have something larger than that 4.8 inches. One of the cool things here is it can tilt away even with all that weight. And with one bike, it's super easy. With two, you may have a little bit of a reach there, but it has this lever here, and you can lower it down like that, and we can get hatch access. You can see there, if we left anything in there, we don't have to take our bikes off, which is really nice. And there's a pretty good amount of clearance there. I think even if you had a mountain bike, I think unless you had really extremely long handlebars, I think you're going to be just fine. We'll get this lifted back up into place. Another nice thing is the included lock. So there's one on that back end, but I'll show you this one right here for our rearmost bike. It's going to have a nice cable lock that comes all the way out. We can run it even further out, run it around our frame, locks back into itself. There's one for each bike. And then that same set of keys that's included will also work for the lock that's down on the hitch, which we'll show you that in a little bit. Overall, I think this is going to be a really solid rack of the way everything functions. Kuat does a really nice job with their design and how everything works, but also just looks really good. So if you come back here, you can see we can release that button right there. And then each little groove there is going to be an adjustment point to get a nice solid fit on the back. This back strap is going to go the entire length of this back cradle here. So we got a tiny little scratch there. This bike rack gets used a lot. A lot of people borrow this one around the shop. Could come up front, release that. And I like the coating on the inside of this hook. I think it's going to do a good job of preventing damage to your bike. We'll lower that back down. Get this bike out of the way. I'm going to take a closer look at these cradles. Put this up. You don't have to put that strap back in place, but I like to keep it nice and clean. If you look here, it's going to have a groove for our road bike tires like we had there, and then it's going to have another little set of grooves here. That's going to accommodate most mountain bikes, and then you can see here is where it's going to really work well for those larger fat bike tires. Let's give you a quick measurement. We can show you how much this is going to add to the back of your car. This is the 2-bike version. It's also available in a 4-bike. And we have the gunmetal gray here, but it also comes in a really cool matte black color that looks really nice. But with the 2-bike, we are adding 30 inches to the back of our vehicle. Now, if you want the 2-bike and you decide later that you want to add more on, we do have options available to add on to this bike rack as well, which is really nice. So then we can come to that same lever that we lowered it down. We can tilt it up. You can see everything just really, it's real smooth. It's not clanky. Like, this is going to be a nice design, and everything's just going to flow smoothly. Adding to the back of this, we are measuring at about 13.5 inches to the back, so we cut down quite a bit. And there's a little bit of movement there, but we're not going to come anywhere near the vehicle. The closest point can be right down here on this arm, and that's going to be 2.5 inches. So plenty of space. Now we can take a closer look at the ground clearance. This is going to come straight out. You may have a little bit of contact here if you're on a steep incline, but that's 12 inches. That's pretty high off the ground. I think you're going to be okay. That's all metal down there. This is a rubber-coated knob here. And we can take a closer look at that too, because this is part of the anti-rattle device. And what's nice is this is a tool-free design. It does come with a tool if you do need to crank it down a little bit more. If you can't get it yourself, it makes it a little bit easier. But most people can get this tightened down all the way. And that just helps with this included pin and clip down here. And with those working together, that gets a nice snug fit in the hitch. If you had this bike rack on by itself, or if you had it loaded up with 2 e-bikes or 2 fat bikes, and you didn't have that anti-rattle bolt, this thing would be moving around quite a bit. It'd be really noisy. Nobody wants that movement on the back of their vehicle. But overall, oh, before I forget, the really cool part about this one is the little arm here that comes out. This is cool because you can use this to work on your bike. You know, if you're at the trail, if your trail doesn't have a bike stand to make repairs, you've got this right here, and you can get it lifted up off the ground and make any adjustments necessary. I think that's a really nice feature. If that's not really something you're into, but you still like the rest of this bike, the Kuat NV 2.0 base is a really nice option. It's the same bike rack, it just doesn't have this repair stand arm. But overall, really nice rack. Everybody seems to really enjoy this rack. I see it on all the time. A guy here leaves it on year-round. We've put a lot of salt and stuff on our roads here in Missouri, and it looks good. He has a little bit of discoloration down there on that orange, but it's holding up really nicely for several years of use. But I think you'll be pretty happy with it, and that's going to do it for our look at the Kuat NV 2.0 on our 2020 Nissan Pathfinder.
First, we'll take it onto our slalom course. This will show you the side-to-side action, such as making turns or evasive maneuvers. Now we're at the alternating speed bumps. This will show you how it looks driving on uneven pavement or potholes. Finally, we're at the solid speed bumps, which simulates going into your driveway or parking lots.